All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elder apostles, the GMS who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. So today, I want to talk about, um, I guess, a continuation of the show I did yesterday, and also a response to another video that Elder Apostle Bar did, which preceded the one that I did a response to yesterday. I believe I can't remember what this one was called. Let me go to it. I can do it like this. Bear with me for a second. I didn't pull this up. I just started this now, so just bear with me for a second. I just want to get the name of the video right. Let's see. Subscriptions. Bear with me for a second here. Let's see. I'll do this if I don't find it right away. So this is the video here. Commentary on GMS Straight Gate. Respect our standard or do not use our name. Right. And in this video and also in this video here, it was the message was how basic and simple this truth is, right? For one, and then for two, um, not needing anything extra to bring into Israel to wake our people up. All we need is the word. That's all we need. We don't need anything worldly. We don't need anything to make the truth palatable for others to understand, right? And it's funny I'm mentioning this now because Sunday at camp, that was this Edomite that had come up. She was sitting across the way from us, and the brother Zion said, "There's gonna be some ass kicking in the kingdom of heaven," which is true if you read the scriptures, right? In Revelations, the second chapter, it says that they shall rule with a rod of iron. What do you think we're gonna do with that rod of iron? We're gonna be kicking ass. So the lady, she kind of reacted to it, with her. She had some facial expression like, "Yeah, I get out of here with that." And she ended up coming over to talk to us, and her main grievance was the fact that we say so-called white people. That was her main grievance, right? But in her what she wanted was, well, you shouldn't say so-called white people. Say this or say that or say something better. Change the verbiage because this doesn't feel like the fruit of Jesus and all this other bullshit. But the point I'm trying to make is she wanted us to make it palatable, and what we said to her was this: it doesn't matter what you do and what you say. If you understand the scriptures, you'll know that the elect, regardless of how the message sounds, is going to be it's going to be received by the elect, no matter how it sounds, right? So that reminds me of a scripture. I don't have this one written down, but let me go to this real quick. Oops. Let's see here. I think that's how it's spelled. Yeah, really. Is it EE? Might be EE. I don't spell that good. Yeah, here we go. This is 2 Corinthians 11:6. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. Right? Why thoroughly? Because just as Paul did, we go through everything, man. And though our speech may be harsh, though it may be rude, if you will, right? it still serves its purpose in that it's getting the word out, right? Now this is Paul speaking this, right? But let's also go here to Second Corinthians, the second chapter. I want to show you something. And I always read the scripture because it's one of my favorites, because it speaks to the mind frame that Paul was in, right? So check this out. Now we know he was rude in speech, right? So he probably had a rough way of saying things, right? Straight to the point, straightforward, which can make people uncomfortable at times, right? But listen to this. It says, but I did this is Second Corinthians 2:1. It says, but I determined this with myself, that I would not come again to you in heaviness. No, this ain't it. This ain't it. Let me see. No, it's First Corinthians, the second chapter. Bear with me for a second. Let's try that. Yes, this is it. First Corinthians 2:1. It says, and I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. Right. So in other words, he was rude in speech, right? It says, for I determined not to know anything among you save Yahushua Hamashiach and him crucified, right? So that was his only concern, was teaching about the Lord Yahushua, and how it came out didn't matter to him, right? Because check this out. I'm gonna keep going. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and power and of power, right? Check this out. That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of the Most High. You see? Now check that out, right? So his main concern wasn't whether or not people could be enticed, right? Not whether or not people could be gimmicked into this truth. He said, "Look, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm gonna give it to you raw, right? He probably lived his life in guilt for what he did before he came into the knowledge of Yahushua. You see, so he he probably had a lot of that emotion with him. You know, listen, this is what it is. This is what it's gonna be. You know, very much like the elder apostle Tahar is. If you around him, man, you'll learn really quickly that he's straightforward, man. He don't hold his tongue. If he's feeling something, he's gonna say it, and he's gonna you're gonna see it in him. You don't hold nothing back for nobody. You know, but the message remains, and that's the way you should be. You shouldn't be concerned with whether or not this truth is palatable for everyone. Because why, right? So let me go here. Let's do this. Let's do it like this. It says this. Oh shit. Here we go. This is Matthew 22:14. Let me go up in here and see if there's anything else in there. Okay. So this is Matthew 22:14. It says this: for many are called, but few are chosen. Right? So this ain't for everybody, right? And matter of fact, I got another one I'm thinking of. What's that? Let's see. I think it's Matthew 13. Let's see. Yep. Yeah. Let me go up in here. Right? This is Matthew. I will start at 13 and 10. It says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? Right? So he wasn't talking to them in any fancy language and making it easy to be understood. this is the Lord Yahushua. He wasn't worried about whether or not it was palatable, right? He gave the straight skinny, right? And whether or not you could hear it, right, or whether or not you would receive it wasn't his concern. And as I go through the lesson, you'll see why. It says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. You see? So it's not for everybody, man. The message isn't for everybody, contrary to what the Christian church will tell you. You don't have to make this truth palatable for everyone, because it's not for everyone. If they don't get it, fuck them and move on. You know, and that's not personal, right? It's not a personal thing. It's like this, right? If you're doing business, right? If you're a businessman and you have an idea, you know, you got money on the table, right? If people aren't willing to put their money in and get with your idea, what do? You move on. You don't keep trying to switch it up, and you move on. You move on. You know. So I got a couple of scriptures written here. That what I wanted to speak to was this, right? Because in the video that Elder Apostle Gabar did, I noticed that the guy that was being spoken of, really it was Elder Apostle Gabar's commentary to a video that the brother in London, Rakaya Kwam, I think his name is, that he did concerning GMS, GMS Straight Gate, I think his name is. Okay. And on one of his videos, he was doing a Drake freestyle, I guess, a Drake Dutty freestyle, whatever the hell that is. And I said to myself, we don't need any endorsements, right? When you think of when I think of IUIC, right, and how they spun that Kendrick Lamar thing in their favor. Right? You know how many followers probably started following IUIC when Kendrick Lamar said, I'm an Israelite, and then they connected his cousin with IUIC. They probably got at least 100 members, at least, in that span of time when that was a popular thing. It's died down now at this point, but that was an endorsement, if you will, right? Because when you listen to the rest of Kendrick Lamar's album, he wasn't really talking about the Most High. He wasn't talking about Israel. He wasn't talking about the scriptures. He still was talking like a nigga. But what did he do? He endorsed the I don't want to say he endorsed the truth, but he was an endorsement for exposure for them, right? So I looked up the word endorsement, right? And it led me to a couple of things that I had written down. Bear with me for a second here. Come on now. What's going on here? Endorsement. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Boom. Endorsement. It says an act of giving one's public approval or support to someone or something. You see? But this truth doesn't need any public support, right? These are small churches, right? And it has an underground feel, if you will, and it won't be made mainstream until until the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai says it to be so. It doesn't need any approval of some rap artist or some endorsement of a rap artist to get people to be drawn in. Why? I'm gonna show you why. Okay, so I should go to I should go there first. John 10:27. I'm gonna show you why, and this is also why Yahweh Shai wasn't concerned about whether or not people got this thing, man, because of this right here. Salakia. This is Matthew 10:27. It says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." So that the truth is gonna have a certain resonance with you. It's gonna have a certain resonance that you can't explain, right? You don't know, to you, well, you wouldn't be able to explain to someone of a carnal mind, right? It's just a feeling that you get, like, I know this is the truth, and that alone is enough to be convincing to you and compelling enough to you for you to continue on in this thing. Just the hearing of the voice, the hearing of these words was all that was needed. You didn't see the elder apostles when they first got on YouTube. They weren't they was raw and uncut. A few men on the corner teaching about the word. There was no draw, right? There was no, it was selling DVDs, or we got cups and T-shirts, or some rapper, right? You know, they wasn't trying to endorse it in that way. They just gave the truth. They just gave the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and that was the draw in. And I can speak for myself. Once I heard it, I was like, this is it. This is it. There was no question for me. I knew I had found the truth, and it filled an empty void that I had in my life. I knew it was the truth. There was nothing anyone can tell me, because I heard it, and it was the voice of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. You see? So let me read this next one, right? So let's do this. Okay. This is James 2:1. It says, my brethren, have not faith of our Lord Yahweh Shai, the glory of the Lord, with respect of persons. You see? It says this, for if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool. Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Right. Because that's what, when you take someone, right, in gay clothing, or there's somebody that got money, right, and you have them to endorse the truth, you're only in it because of that person, not because of your genuine feeling, or your genuine draw into this truth. You're only there because of that person. And once that person leaves, and no, because if you look at, let's say, let's take Kobe Bryant, for instance, right? And I'm only saying this because I remember Kobe Bryant, when he first started. What product did he endorse? He was an endorser of Adidas, right? The first Kobe Bryant sneaker that had come out, the Crazy Eights, which I'm sure you sneaker guys know about, right? It was an Adidas product. But later on in his career, what did he do? He went to Nike. And then what happened in that time when he switched over? I guarantee you, everyone that was a Kobe fan that bought, because them sneakers were ugly in my opinion. When they bought those Adidas and every other ugly ass sneaker that Kobe Bryant had with Adidas, right? When he switched to Nike, so did they. Right? So when that man who's so-called endorsing the truth, right, switches over and decides that it's something that he doesn't want to see anymore, or he's something that he doesn't want to follow anymore, the people that were following it just because of him are going to go with him. You see? This truth doesn't need to be endorsed. It stands alone. It stands by itself. Matter of fact, uh, I didn't write it down. I think it's Isaiah. Let's see, 34:16. I want to say. It says, yes, 34, Isaiah 34:16. It says this: seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. You see, you don't need to marry this truth with anything. It stands by itself. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. You see, you don't need nothing else, man. Just the words and the spirit, which is which are one and the same, man. You don't need anything else. This truth stands on its own. It stands on its own 2 feet. It doesn't need any enticing words. It doesn't need any endorsing rap artists or basketball. Yeah, like it ain't like we toting Wheaties and we need some athlete on the front cover of the box. No, no, this truth stands by itself. And if the truth is not enough to compel you in, then it's not for you. For those of you who try to decorate the cake, as I said in the last show, for those of you who try to leaven the cake and put icing on the cake and put sugar in the mix so it can be sweetened and palatable, for those of you who are doing that, you don't. This truth is not enough for you, and they show, man, and they show. Trying to do everything extra. They got, you never seen uh the elder apostles doing. Well, let me say, if you never seen the elder apostles doing it, then you don't need to do it because you were drawn in, right? Weren't you drawn in by the simplicity that the elder apostles perpetuated, right? Weren't you drawn in? So why would you think in your heart of hearts that you would need to do something different than what they did to draw you in, right? Which shows you're not a thinking person. You have a reprobate mind. The thing that drew you in, the simplicity that drew you in, is all is needed, man. You don't need to do nothing extra. You had this guy, he probably watches these shows because he's a snake. This guy that used to come around us when we were down in Mattapan. Um, he said something about, I forget, but it was Boys to Men. We was talking about Boys to Men and how they, here they are calling themselves Israelites, but when they're having a concert at the damn school, they talking about let it snow, let it snow. He's like, oh, well, that's what you got to do. That's their job. That's how they make them. Nah, fuck that, man. This truth is your job. This truth is your job. Are they too good to work at a regular job? This truth is all you need, man. It doesn't need no draw, no gimmick. Matter of fact, just to say that, Boys and Men was their gimmick. You think them women was up in there joining the church because of fucking what's the nigga name? The Comforter? They was up in there, they wanted to see a Boys and Men concert. And whoever else they might have had in there. You see? This is why you see different Israelite groups making rap songs and yeah, we banging on Esau and all of that bullshit. That they do that because they trying to make it a gimmick. They want to still be accepted, right? But no, man. Once you come into this truth, you got matter of fact, you got to prepare to lose your life, man. You know, says this, right? Matthew 10:39. It says, "He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my name's sake shall find it." You don't make this thing acceptable so you can still straddle the fence, you know. So the people that you used to hang with were like, oh, that's kind of cool what y'all doing over there. Y'all be hitting the music and all that. Y'all who pay for your studio time? Okay, yeah, y'all. Can I get in there with y'all? Nah, man. The truth stands alone and doesn't need any endorsements. Right. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachah Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect. And with that, I say shalom.